Talking Shirts is presented in partnership with White Oak Cottage. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to episode number 102 of Talking Shirts. I'm Mike from Hull Car Shirts, and here we are today with the 1999 home shirt. Now, this shirt is probably one of the worst condition shirts that I've got in my collection in terms of it carrying game damage, and it's still being technically in one piece. This thing is absolutely battered. Plenty to talk about. So yeah, as I say, the 1999 home shirt. So yeah, the 1999 home shirt, it's an all red shirt, and then we have got this white band going through the middle with a little red band above that, and then another white band going through that. Nice little touch, I think, having these sort of piping bands, shall we say, of red and white going above the normal white band going through the middle. It's just something which does just give it a nice little sort of finishing touch to the shirt, shall we say. Manufactured by Avec. Their branding is actually quite large on this shirt. That has been embroidered, as has the Hull Kingston Rovers club crest. And then we have got a heat applied Neil Hudgell and Co Solicitors sponsor on the front. Neil, I've heard a little bit about him, haven't you? So this was kind of Neil's first foray into the club, really, sort of into 97, into 98, and then obviously 1999. His shirt, the shirt did carry his company branding on the front as well there. Once again, we have got a turnover collar. You may remember from episode number 101, I spoke about Paul Cook's 2007 home shirt, and I spoke about that having a turnover collar. Well, we have got one here as well. This was stitched down. It is still stitched down a little bit at the back, but towards the front now, as you can see, it's really just sort of flying in the wind. We have got a piece of blue piping and a piece of red detailing that continues all the way around to the back of the white turnover collar. That then does form a V-neck in the front here, and there is a little bit of a crossover going on, and the blue piping continues on the edge of that V. And then we do have, or should say had, some reinforced stitching in the neck here. But as you can see, that is really fraying. There's been quite a lot of damage to this. Again, it's because of the era, I've not really tried to photo match it, just because I know that the archives aren't necessarily there for this era in terms of quantity, but the amount of damage that's going on here, you'd like to think that if I could find some photos from the 1999 season, that I would hopefully be able to try and identify this, unless this damage did happen at a later date, either in training or just through some completely other means. As I've said, the Hull Kingston Rovers Club crest, that has been embroidered. It's a lovely, lovely badge, this one. It was one that we used for a couple of years during this period of time, and it's one that I'm really, really fond of. I love the way that the Kingston and the Rovers actually lines up. If you think of the badge, the one that's on the wall behind me, you may notice that the K of Kingston and the S of Rovers doesn't actually line up, where we do get that on this crest here. And it's just a really, really nice sort of touch with this crest, and something that I absolutely love. The white background and the red crowns, I think that really does stand out there. So let's take a look at the side whilst we're here. So we will just look at one of these sleeves because they are both the same. But we have got part of Avec's branding, which is in alternating navy and red colourways on a white band that continues all the way down the sleeve here. This does continue all the way down, and then we have got the Northern Ford Premiership competition patches. So we do have one of these on both sleeves. These have been heat applied, and you can see where it is starting to go a little bit thin. There has obviously been quite a bit of wear and probably quite a bit of washing to this shirt, and that's probably got quite a bit to do with why there is a little bit of damage here. We've got some loose cotton and some loose threads as well, where things are really starting to fray. If we have a look in here, I love getting inside all of the inners of these shirts and just kind of seeing the different elements of manufacturing, but also the damage as well, and things that you don't just normally see by just looking at the outside. So yeah, that's been the front and the side of this 1999 home shirt. Before we take a look around the back, here is a quick word from our sponsor.
White Oak Cottage is a 2-bedroom luxury holiday cottage set in the stunning Lincolnshire Wolds. It has 2 ensuite bedrooms, a hot tub, wood burner, Wi-Fi, electric vehicle charger, and is pet friendly. It is ideally situated in the Wolds, yet only 15 miles from the coast and 25 miles from the historic city of Lincoln. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Welcome back to part 2 of episode number 102. Here we are with the 1999 home shirt, and as you can see here, I've turned it round so we can have a look at the reverse. Very, very plain, very, very simplistic. It's an all red back. Again, we don't have that band continuing on the back. It's a regular feature on these rugby league shirts these days. Obviously, the legislation states that names and numbers and everything need to be quite visible. Obviously, in this era, there was no names, but the number, you can't argue that that number is not visible on the back of that shirt. Or we have got a white number on the back of a red shirt. These have been heat applied. There is a little bit of cracking going on, a little bit of peeling, but again, this is kind of age related, where if you think 1999, you know, this was what, 25 years ago. That's a bit scary, really, 25 years, when you think 1999 being that far away now. You can see up here that we do have one sponsor on the back of the shirt. You might be able to tell what it is, even though it has been heavily washed and heavily worn off. But that did actually say Hull Daily Mail at one point. That is probably the branding that I grew up with me being a 90s baby. That probably does make sense with this being on the 1999 home shirt. But yes, that is the Hull Daily Mail branding that features on the back of the shirt. Quite a good size, really, when you think about it. It has to fit into the cutouts of these raglan sleeves to be able to kind of fit into this gap. Otherwise, then you're lowering it, and we have the issues that we had on the 2008 shirt. The 2008, home and away, it was both, So yeah, they've done a really good job of making sure that does fit in there. Obviously, we haven't looked at the sleeve already, but look at this hole here. I didn't notice that at first. Look at that. Yeah, I love stuff like that. That's obviously where the collar has been stitched down and then pulled away, and then there's obviously ripped in contact at some point. So yeah, absolutely love that. I didn't actually know that was there because it's kind of been under there. First opportunity to talk about it, and look at that, found out something new already. Brilliant. So yeah, the number 11. This will have been worn by one of the starting second rowers. I did do a little bit of research. It's obviously incredibly difficult to prove who may have worn this shirt. But when I did a little bit of research, it came back that it was worn by Smith, Hughes or Hardy. Those were the three that regularly started in that second row position during that 1999 season. So yeah, it could have been quite easily any of those three. Three players that I'm not massively familiar with. Obviously, my tenure as a supporter didn't start until 10 years after this shirt was used. So everything that I've learned and everything that I know has come from research and looking into things. But naturally, there's always going to be some gaps in my knowledge when it comes to every single player that's played for this club. And most certainly years where I wasn't actually a supporter and actively learning as the season goes on. So yeah, 1999 home shirt, one of my favourites in terms of its design. I just love the simplicity of it. It's a replica that I quite often like to wear. And yeah, now I'm really pleased to have added a match worn version into my collection. One that would probably fit me. Not that I would wear it. Most certainly not in that condition anyway. Most people probably wouldn't understand why he was wearing a shirt that was in that type of condition. Anyway, but yeah, it's a really, really nice shirt. So, thank you very much for watching this episode, 102. We're going to move on to 103 next. And in that episode, we're going to take a look at the 2023 home shirt that was worn by the one and only Mikey Lewis. Thank you very much for watching. See you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.